comes from the mother. Then I seen a cousin hand in hand to my mother. Why you think I am the way I am, motherfucker? It's not the definition in the Bible when I love her. Ran up in that pussy, got my blood back. Run through some more rain, coated in the blood bag. Head to the sky while I pump back. Picture of me pierced to her wall like a thumbtack. I'ma keep it one stack. If I come, I'ma come back. Ain't until the day that she give away the cootie, that she talk to men any kind of way unruly. Don't let her call you moody when you're wrong. Call her beauty or vlog in the vacate, making a movie, rollerblading under chemtrails, watching gems fail. Keon need a helping arm, I'ma send mail. Embrace him in my arms just in case it's his hell. And we are the last of the thoroughbred males. Never job, I'm like bet be a star. More like a saw, just because of who we are. Cougar or cheetah, bruh, she will have character. Be an art as a saw, rapping dog, avatar, that's what y'all.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Viewers, live viewers, and people who are catching up to this after it's been recorded. It's been taking some time for me to get to do this video. For what reasons, besides Mercury retrograde, I'm not 100% sure. You know what I'm saying? However, the fact remains now that we are here, or I am here, to talk about or address the things that I want to talk about as far as regarding slavery. All right, so the first thing that I want to bring up is a lot of people who complain about slavery are themselves in positions that they don't favor. And this is where there is a lack of self-identity and self-preservation. Okay, so without even asking a question of what people think slavery is, right? Like some people may think that it's what happened in the 1400s, 1500s, you know what I'm talking about, right? With the transatlantic slave trade, right? What is interesting about slavery, not to take anything away from anyone or to add anything extra onto everyone's or anyone's ethnic background, is that it started in Arabia, okay? If you want to go research that, be my guest, it's fine. So here we are today where people are openly expressing slavery, as slavery is something that they are accustomed to, slavery is something that they participate in, and slavery is something that never really left. It's either some type of mental chain or shackle, or in some type of way people are not in control of their destiny and control of their fate, this, that, and the third. And this is even common among people who are wealthy. So I guess you can't call these people elite if that's the case, right? All right, let me chill, because now I'm being sarcastic. So let me just say what I need to say about this, because this is a very sensitive topic. I'm going to relate this to astrology, all right? And I'm going to begin with Capricorn, because I think a lot of people, just in general, right? If you don't know anything about astrology, you would say, if you just hear me saying this, you'd be like, fuck Capricorn. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck does Capricorn have to do with me being in slavery, or me being a slave, or my grandma being a slave, or whatever the case may be, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Astrology is the oldest, I don't even want to call it a religion. It's the oldest way of life. It's the oldest construct of to how people began designing things and making symbols, this, that, and the third, right? It goes further back to the Groove-ware people, who was even before tracings of the Sumerians, right? Groove-ware people, they were like real actual cavemen who were looking at the sun, and when the sun rises, they would basically, marker with a stone where the sun would rise to a certain level, and they would do this repeatedly year after year after year after year to they were able to track how the sun moved in the sky. All right, thus you have your astrology, right? So I say that to say this: the sign of Capricorn in astrology deals with structure, it deals with rules, it deals with organization. So if anyone out here is not a fan of slavery or structure or rules or organization, you will be more closely associated with the sun. And the reason why I say that is because the sun deals with self-expression and the sun deals with free will. Because for those of you who believe that there is a free will, and for those of you who don't think that there would be any type of restraint on free will, you'd be surprised to know that there is a restraint on free will. And those who are more along the lines of showing some type of restriction or refraining from doing the things that they just love to do is more along the lines of Saturn. All right, Saturn deals with self-volition. The difference between self-volition and self-expression is that self-volition, well, let me explain self-expression first. Self-expression basically means that whatever you're feeling at the time, you will wing it. Like you will go on a whim and just be like, fuck that, I don't care. I'm going to do what I feel like doing in a moment because I'm free, and that's just how life is going to be for me. And I'm not going to give two fucks, and I'm not going to regret anything. We're born to die, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea, right? Self-volition, on the other hand, is, okay, I have a dream, I have a goal, and I want to achieve it. So you may be on your way to pursue this goal, and then all of a sudden something happens or something gets in your way, right? Let's say some people, let's say the obstacle comes in the form of people, right? And you say, okay, well, these people get in your way, or they tell you something like, oh, you can't do that because you have to have a license or a permit, right? So this is kind of a good example, because if we look at people being locked up for like selling lemonade on the sidewalk and stuff like that, right? They don't have a business license, they don't have a sales permit, right? And I'm very keen on these types of things because I actually go and do all of the paperwork to do this type of stuff, right? So here I am following the rules, following the structure. I'm more along the lines of self-volition. I'm more along the lines of being associated with Saturn because of this, right? And Saturn is the ruling planet of what sign? Capricorn, okay? So I'm bringing it in. Check me out. So self-volition, as I was saying, is go more along the line of, okay, let's say there's an obstacle that comes and people get in your way. Self-expression, the ego involved with the sun will say, get the fuck out my way. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you getting in the way? Why are you hating, right? Like, why are you hating on me? Stop hating. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. I don't need no structure, and can't nobody tell me nothing, right? So that's the sun battling against the obstacle, and that delay or that restraint is put on you by Saturn, okay? So that's a battle between the sun and Saturn, most of the times with the feeling that is identified as slavery. And that is why. Now, self-volition, as I was saying before, goes more along the lines of, I have a dream, I have a goal. So when those people come in the form, when that obstacle comes in the form of people, for example, the people say, well, look, you can't do this until you go get a business license, or whatever the case may be. That's just one type of scenario, right? This obstacle comes, and then, hey, that's up. This obstacle comes, pardon me, that's Instagram stuff going on. Okay, so this obstacle comes in the form of people, and okay, the person who's more along the lines of self-volition, who wants to achieve this goal, they're going to listen to what these people have to say, and they're going to say, okay, well, what are the pros and the cons? Let's say, okay, I don't have the actual finances or resources to get this certificate yet, right? So but they go research the certificate, and they say, okay, well, I could be more along the lines of, Taya Carter, what's going on? What's going on? Nice to see you here. So they go and they research the certificates, they weigh the pros and the cons, they see that it will benefit them more if they follow the rules, they might have some type of tax breaks, whatever the case may be, right? But the consequence if you don't do it and just go with basic self-expression and ego in the sun is you can mess around and be arrested for selling stuff or selling the things that you want to sell. So this person that's more closely associated with self-volition and more closely associated with Saturn says, okay, I'm going to research the certificate. It's going to benefit me in the long run. It's going to take me some more time to get out there to sell my stuff. But you know what? It's okay. I'm going to practice restraint. I'm going to practice some self-discipline, right? And I'm going to wait. I'm going to purchase that certificate so I could be in the safeguard, right? They're not going to run up on me and lock me up. Then I'll be out there protesting with picket signs, this, that, and the third, okay? So this is the difference between self-volition and self-expression. Remember, again, self-expression deals with ego, deals with the sun. Self-volition deals with maybe some type of restraint or delay that is put on you by Saturn. Again, Saturn versus sun, Saturn versus sun. So who are you more along the lines of, right? This is the question that you got to ask yourself if you identify yourself as being under slavery or slave rule, or if you know people who identify themselves as being under slavery and they want to protest, or they are the type animated people in your family, perhaps, right? You want to ask them this question. And so now let's get back to Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn being rules, structure, and everything. Capricorn in astrology and the natural chart is in the 10th house. The 10th house deals with career, recognition, and status. Okay, so what is the difference? This is the first thing we got to talk about. Kisa Da, what up? What up? This is the first thing we got to talk about and pinpoint. Okay, you may ask yourself if you know anything about astrology. Let's say you just know the houses and the signs. Cool, right? You're on your way. So there's a sixth house, and the sixth house deals with health and work environment. Two major key aspects of the sixth house, right? And then you have the 10th house, which is the career, as I said before, recognition, status, what you're known for, what you want to be known for. So you may not even be in your 10th house career, whatever sign is there yet. However, it's in the cards that you'll be there one day. If that's what you want and you want to put your mind to that, you'll be there, right? So the difference, I'm not even going to hold you, the difference between the 6th house and the 10th house is 6th house is just routine. 6th house is something that you do routinely as a way to sustain health, right? So we all know that if we don't move our feet in some form of fashion in this structure, right, because it's a structure, that we will perish in some type of way, or we will become ill, right? So again, 6th house deals with the environment, it deals with health. Ruby Red, what's going on, man? What's going on, right? It deals with health. So we know that our well-being relies on at least doing the basic necessities in order to survive in this world, right? Because let's say you just want to go basically off of self-expression and ego that deals with the sun. You just want to be free. You want to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to peel blades of grass out of the ground, right? Okay, let's say you do that. Well, you go out in the jungle where there's no people, where there's no structure, there's no organization. You got to fight off the hyenas. You got to fight off the lions, right? They want to eat. You got to fight off the cows. They want to eat the grass that you want to pull out of the ground. Like, you're going to be out there. 6th house is Leo for Taya Carter. Okay. So we're going to use your 6th house Leo as an example, okay, Taya? And we're going to say that you probably feel the most at home when it comes to self-expression and ego in your work environment. Like, you are the prototype for that. So you may be at work and people may say, oh, you got to do it like this, Taya, you got to do it like this. And you're like, fuck that. No, I don't, because I did it like this yesterday. None of y'all in here know what y'all talking about. Like, watch, right? That's the work environment for you. Now, if you feel some type of struggle going on inside of this work environment, or some type of obstacles, or some type of kickback to your behavior, this is a Saturn mechanism. This is a Saturn aspect that is coming towards you and saying, okay, I heard that you just told so-and-so yesterday that you didn't have to do it this way, that you did it this way, and this is the way it works, and nobody around here knows what they're talking about, right? And you may be a subordinate in this situation, and you may be speaking to a manager at this point, right? So when they come at you like this, and the cards are on the table, and you have to experience, well, it's definitely an obstacle, but if you have to experience some type of restraint, like a write-up, to give you some type of discipline, and you can't hold that, yeah, so I will show them. Be specific, Ty. What do you mean you will show them? What does that mean? All right. I don't want to lose myself, though, right? So you understand what I'm saying, though, right? So if you can't hold down that type of discipline, then that will be the ego. That will be your ego overpowering the person that is in the hierarchical position. And anything dealing with hierarchy is relative to Capricorn. Anything dealing with hierarchy is relative to also the ruling planet of Capricorn, which is Saturn, right? So with Taya, again, I don't want to not give you some type of support, right? Let's say, where's your sun at, Taya? So wherever your sun, you're not a Leo, are you, Taya? Taya, are you a Taurus? Where's your sun at? Because this is where you want to find out if your sun is in a strong enough position to even speak like that at your work environment, because it may possibly be that way. You may have a sun inside of, you may have your sun inside of your 10th house, for example, right? So that would be Leo 6th, so that would be Virgo 7th, that would be Libra 8th, that would be Scorpio 9th, and that would be Sagittarius 10th. So let's say you was a Sagittarius, and you probably not, Taya, but let's say Taya was a Sagittarius and the sun was in the 10th house. Then they might get away with, right, just, okay, just an easier or a better way, yeah. But it sometimes you are a Taurus, right? But sometimes it comes across the way that you deliver your speech, right? And I say this about Leos sometimes. I say this about Leos all the time. They are very good at expressing themselves with opinions and not facts, right? Or just for the sake of hearing me roar, right? Show me attention. I'm the fucking boss. I'm the Leo. You know what I'm saying? But you may not even be the manager. You may not even be the supervisor. You may just be merely a subordinate. And you see these terms that I'm using, right? It can sound discouraging. It can sound condescending, right? Don't Capricorns get the rap for being condescending? Why? Because a Capricorn will work their ass off to the top of a ladder, to the top of a food chain, and say, I'm here because of the duties and the responsibilities that I hold, not because I feel some type of way, or I don't like this person, or I have an opinion about this. Your opinions don't matter when you compare it to my work. You understand what I'm talking about? So this is a continual conflict that has been going on since the beginning of time, but no one's really bringing this up. Nobody really wants to look at it from that aspect. Oh, so you do got oh, I'm right. Look, so okay, so look, boom. Let's say, all right, now in that situation, right, when you got your son in the 10th house, you are more of an authoritative figure. So you may sense, I want to call it luck. Some people don't believe in that. I'm going to call it luck. Sun in Sagittarius, why not? You have to call it luck, right? Sagittarius is the lucky sign, the luckiest sign in the zodiac. So I'm going to call it luck, right? So you got a sun inside of the 10th house. This means that this same Leo inside of the 6th house in the work environment has the ability to express themselves freely like that and get away with it. The manager may come on the scene and be like, I heard you said such and such to someone, blah, 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 blah. You know, what made you feel that you could do that, you know? And then the Leo expresses it and like, this is the better way. Look, I'm gonna show you right now. Stay right here. I'm gonna show you. With authority, right? And because Leo does speak with authority. They show the manager, all of a sudden you get a promotion, right? Or all of a sudden the manager says, oh, you know what, we're gonna continue doing it that way. I want you to tell the rest of them how to do it this way, right? This is because your son is in a better position to strive and thrive inside of your work environment. So these are the type of placements right here that where 6th house turns from just a routine work thing to becoming your career, because you are climbing inside of the hierarchical structure. I hope I haven't lost anyone who's watching or people who will be watching this when you turn it on. This is what I'm explaining to you, right? So this is I wouldn't call it a rare, but this is that certain situation when you see people who enter the workforce, they come in at entry level and then they work their way up. This is where you can consider the 6th house being a career because they took those necessary steps to reach the pinnacle. Taurus sun with a lot of Sag and Libra in the planets. Okay, Ty, are we going to talk about that? That's good to know. That's good to know. Let's keep that right here for a minute so I can make my next point, which is rather, the constructs of the 10th house again. So let's get back to the 10th house, right? Why is the 10th house considered career and what you'll be recognized for apart from what you routinely do in the 6th house? The reason why this happens is because if you count the houses over from the 6th house and you land in the 10th house, how many houses are we counting over? It's 5. We're going to count this. We're going to count the 6 as the first house. We're going to count the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. That is 5 houses. 5 houses over to the 10th house. Now, why am I stressing this and making this a point? The reason why I'm making this a point is because of this. The 5th house is ruled by Leo. All right? The 5th house is represented by what? Fun. If you're going to narrow it down to one word, it's going to be fun. I don't want to take too much time of y'all. It's kind of late already. But regardless, you know, live or recorded, the reason why I must stress this is because when people feel that they want to be free in what it is that they're doing, it is cool to rely on the 5th house to feel that way because that is where Leo is strongest at. That is the house that Leo rules over, right? So if you count 5 houses over and you're into the 10th house, you must love what you do. You must have fun at what you're doing. And when this occurs, you are free. You are free. So to not even draw this video out long, to not even make this as controversial as people want to make it, this is the answer to slavery. When you are doing what you totally are having fun at doing, right? And it resonates inside of the 10th house, it is no longer just a routine. This is something that you'd have to do or you may feel ill without doing it. This is when you know you found your career. This is when you know you've done it. And check this out, right? This is why a lot of people are struggling and they are announcing that they're under slave rule and they want to rebel and they want to grab their picket signs and their sharpies and they want to go to Wall Street and this, that, and third. This is why, right? It's because they are not willing to take what? Risk. They are not willing to take what? Risk. And risk is associated with what? The fifth house, which deals with speculative matters, right? The same way you gamble with a bingo ticket, the same way you gamble when you go to Vegas, the same way you gamble when you go to Atlantic City, the same way you gamble when you go to off-track betting on the horses, the same way you bet on Golden State versus Cleveland, the same way you use those risks and utilize those risks. If you're not utilizing that for what you want to be recognized for, your ego, your self-identification is lacking. Your self-expression will therefore lack consequently. You understand what I'm talking about? So if you're not willing to take, this is the reason why a lot of people, you hear them beefing. And I just got finished like snoozing. I love the snooze button on Facebook now because I really don't even like Facebook, period, right? But since they got that snooze button, I've been rocking that out. Why? Because I see a lot of people complaining about being slaves or complaining about the structure, the existing structure, the existing market. Can't find a house if anything, but it says my moon is in Sagittarius, says Ruby Red. Okay, Ruby Red, do you have your natal chart? If you have your natal chart, and Ruby Red, also take note of this, right? I just did a slew. I just did 12 videos on the moon that will be over inside of the Private Investigation Enterprises, which is my firm. It'll be over on that YouTube channel. I will be making all of those 12 videos public tonight. It's the beginning of a whole slew of videos that I'm going to do for the planets being inside of houses, the planets being inside of signs, and the signs being inside of different houses. This way that, everyone who wants to look at compatibility, everyone who wants to look at compatibility between themselves and their partners and stuff, they can go right to Private Investigation Enterprises channel and go to the playlist and look at where all of the placements are for the planets, the signs, and everything, and you guys compare. Because if you really care about astrology and you really value these things, then you will take the time out to watch the video, jot down whatever notes you need to do, and do the comparing and comparison. You'll know yourself and you'll know your partner. Now, if it comes down to aspects and stuff like that, eventually later I can see what I can do about that. The reason why I'm making this a point also is because, cool thing, looking forward to it. All right, no doubt. The reason why I'm making a point of this now as well is because I've been drained, y'all. And this is not, this is my shit. This is not to pass any blame on you or whatever the case may be. I just don't want this to roll over into my relationships. It's already rolling into my personal life, and I gotta take care of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm drained to the point where, and like sometimes some people can ask for like a certain relationship, right? An aspect or whatever the case may be. And, I'll tell them. And then like a new subscriber will come on and they'll ask for like the same placement or something very similar. And it's like, I want to tell everybody like, yo, go check the playlist. You know what I'm saying? And then it sounds like I'm an asshole. I'm already called an asshole all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not afraid of that, but it's like, I am also here to serve the people. You understand what I'm talking about? So it's like, I gotta make it in a way that so everything is organized, because I got a fifth house that actually deals with Capricorn, right? So I have fun when things are in order. That's my fun. That's my leisure. You know what I'm saying? So it came to the point where I even made an error on my own chart. I don't have Sun in the 7th house. Come to find out, I have Sun in the 6th house. So I had to close down an actual popular video that I have on this channel because I said that my Sun was in the 7th house. I made an error on my own chart, and I usually don't do that. I got a Virgo moon, I got a Virgo ascendant. I usually don't make these types of errors. However, this is the type of toll that is taken on me. Right, you did tell me that, Taya. You did. And I almost didn't do this video today. You know what I'm saying? I was relaxing, and I must have got like about 10 to 15 messages today when I was resting. And I'm just like, I'm drained. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a little exercise. I'm gonna do more exercise. And I'm gonna just get back in the game and put my head back in the game and do the things that I need to do. Because for whatever reason, I couldn't do the booby cell either. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to blame hackers or whatever the case may be. That's the typical thing, right? But it's just like, yo, just go try it again or whatever the case may be. So here I am doing this. So to get back to this 10th house thing, right? What was we talking about? The Facebook thing, right? Yeah, I'm using the snooze button because it's like, people are complaining. And the people that are like share the statuses of other people or share the news, whether it's fake or not. Watch when we get into the Pisces, Aquarius compatibility video that I do. I am very hard on myself, Taya. Very. So all that Virgo energy, I'm very hard on myself. And come to find out I got sun in sixth house, right? Because I'm wondering, like, if I got sun in the seventh house, why am I not faring better in relationships? Like, shouldn't I have more assistance, right? So I'm like, let me go back to my natal chart and look closer at this. And come to find out, my sun is in the sixth house, which means I'm a workaholic because the sixth house is work environment, is routine. So that's why I go so hard. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's also why I'm drained because I'm giving away a lot of myself in work, but I'm not doing enough on my own accord, right? I'm almost psyching myself out, believing that I have to be like a sun in the seventh house when that's not the case at all. So, again, as I was saying before, right? When you go with the 10th house, and people are complaining about the structures, they're sharing videos that are pretty much filled with ignorance, or pretty much sharing things that they're not going to do anything about for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in a position where you're complaining about your own position in life in the work industry, you got work to do on yourself before I think that you should actually spread this type of propaganda, before you should spread these type of opinions that you have on the existing structure, because not for nothing, the existing structure got you this far, right? Whether you work or whether you don't work, or if you get any type of subsidy, if you get any type of assistance, it's all part of the structure. If your family helps you, deals with the fourth house in astrology. We can explain it all through astrology. You know what I'm saying? But the point here, and the main thing that I need to emphasize here is that when you're not doing what you love or what you have fun doing, you're not ever going to feel free. You're not ever going to be free. And you'll also find out that when that fifth house, those five houses over from the sixth house that lands inside of the 10th house, is going to combine with Saturn. So where you're going to have responsibilities when you're having fun and doing what you love. They go hand in hand if you want to be recognized for it. Now you could be recognized for ignorance as well, right? But hasn't the structure or the powers that be found a way to monetize ignorance? Like seriously, like think about it. Ignorance is monetized too. So there's no escaping the structure. There will always be a Capricorn. There will always be a structure of rules, organizations. You could play it Amish. You could do the Amish thing. You can do that. Let me know how that goes though. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how that goes. You could do the monk thing. Let me know how that goes. If you ever feel like getting Wi-Fi connection again, let me know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that I want to say about risk rather quickly is this, right? When you take the risk to embody the 10th house, your career, what you're being recognized for, you may not get paid for it. You may not see that immediate reward for being paid for it. You understand what I'm talking about? Why? Because it's a risk. It's not surety. You are not assured for it. So let's make an example of what we normally see posted online. Oh, I'm chasing that bag. I'm getting to the money. I can't sit around and do nothing or not get this cheddar. I can't get this bag beat, right? You see a lot of this prideful stuff going on. Leslie Enoch, what's going on, man? You see a lot of that being verbalized or stated, right? So people, again, are in a condescending mood because they have an assured structure. I guess they've been on the job long enough to even call it security, right? However, what job is really that safe? I'm not going to delve off too deep, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So here it is. We have this type of dialogue, and they have this surety or whatever, but they still complain too, right? That's a complaint in itself. Oh, I'm going to get to this bag. No matter what, I'm going to make sure I'm not broke. Even if they got $10 left after they pay their rent, pay all of their bills, eat. If they got kids, take care of the kids, they may have $8.34 left. But they still will be braggadocious. They still will be proudful. Why? Because they know they get a paycheck every week. So what's flying over their head, though, is they're not taking the risk. They might rather, go spend their money on leisure time after work instead of working on something that is theirs and theirs alone. That is probably right in front of their eyes, placed inside of the 10th house. That the reason why they're not taking that risk is because there's no reward. They can't see the reward. So they're like, okay, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell you how many countless hours I've put into my crafts without seeing an immediate reward. So some people will call that batshit crazy, like you're insane. They'll say, I'm gonna get up off my ass and I'm gonna go to work. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, okay, all we could do is just be like, okay, well, go ahead, go to work. You know what I'm saying? They may say, well, why you not in the club with us tonight, Bugs? Why you not in the bars with us tonight, Bugs? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because y'all are going to spend y'all check money, and I respect it. Y'all, that's the decision that y'all chose to make. Y'all are going to use y'all check money on y'all leisure activities because deep down inside your heart and in the back of your mind, you feel like this is the only way to feel gratified for hours of work that you put into something that you really did not want to do, something that you are not truly the boss of. And if it ain't fast money or easy, right? A lot of people take the fast money route and all that too. You know what I'm saying? That's also a risk. It's also a risk, but like you see some trap stars, like they love it. Like they love it. They don't, even if they go to jail, like they don't care. Like they love the game so much that they're with it. Some people will save bands and racks up or whatever the case may be. I don't even want to take this time to glorify that because that's a type of risk that is you know, it's more dangerous than other risks. It's very high risk. That's very high risk. You know what I mean? Saturn is transiting your 10th house now. Any thoughts? Well, with Saturn transiting your 10th house right now, I'll play it later on in the week. Yeah. With Saturn transiting your 10th house right now, I would say prepare yourself for, you know, to be recognized and to obtain more status than you already withhold right now because it's time for that. The timing is on point for you. You understand what I'm talking about? Not only that, if Saturn is transiting your 10th house right now, would that still be in a sign of Capricorn? Or do you mean when it's transiting inside of the next house, Leslie, which would be Aquarius? So are we talking about Saturn being in Capricorn, or are we talking about Saturn being inside Aquarius? Because that makes even more of a point, right? Because if you mean it being inside of Capricorn, even better. That means you're going to excel even further than you probably can expect. You understand what I'm talking about? And this is considering that you utilize the rules of Saturn, and the rules of Saturn is merely the rules, restraint, refraining sometimes. Yes, in Cap, but moving to Aquarius. Okay, so right now you'd be recognized for your work ethic, flat out. As long as you're utilizing the rules of Saturn, which is work ethic, which is delay sometimes, but not only delay, but how you respond to delay, right? It also deals with the bone, skeletal matters. So, like skin and teeth. So you want to make sure you're taking care of those things as well, because Saturn is like, I guess you could say God fearing because people from lineages before associated God with the sun, right? So the reason why people with this Saturn structure can be considered God fearing is because you gotta let the ego, people's egos, you gotta let that shit fly past you. You know what I'm saying? You can't let that bother you to the point where it persuades you from getting off track and losing your focus to your climb, to your pinnacle, to what you're supposed to be recognized for. Okay, because people who are egotistical can take you off that game, or you can be influenced by ego so much that you say, you know what, I'm done with this Saturn shit. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of patience. I'm tired. I'm just fucking tired. I'm tired of school, right? Saturn deals with not the actual higher education itself, but the discipline to achieve it. So you might be like, yo, fuck this school shit. I'm dropping out. I'm tired of this. I want some money. I want some fun, right? So as long as you are utilizing the rules of Saturn, pretty much what I'm saying, you're going to be in a great position with Aquarius in 11th house because you actually have a natal chart that applies to the natural course of things in astrology, right? You don't know if Saturn or Libra is good or Saturn and Libra is good or bad. Well, Saturn is a malefic planet. You know what I'm saying? However, okay, people would associate that normally or naturally with bad, but at the same time, especially in a Western world, planets that are negatively placed can bring some type of um, greatness to your life, right? So Saturn is a great teacher, so it all depends. You know what I'm saying? If you can show uh, discipline within your relationships, that's what a Saturn and Libra is supposed to be about. You know what I'm saying? So you could do a quick assessment when you look at your placements in your chart. You say, okay, well, Saturn is the ruler of structure and organization and rules. It's inside of Libra. See, now Libra is like really big on being 50-50 inside of relationships, and Libra is the ruler of the seventh house, which deals with business relationships. So you can do very well in business with a Saturn inside of Libra, okay? Which will also have impact on that placement is which house your Libra is in. You know what I mean? So again, I want you all to be aware of the negatrons who are, or who I call the pessimists of the world, who can more disciplined and ready to see some gains. Yeah, okay, more about that, Leslie, right? The gains part. As I said, your chart is like the natural chart in astrology. So when it comes to Aquarius being in the 11th house, that means now people are not only going to see, the people are going to see what you're recognized for, and they're going to want to join with you. Now, these people may be complete strangers. They may come from all walks of life, but they will gravitate to what your status is, whether you're being recognized for in this 10th house and when this transit is occurring. You understand what I'm talking about? So take advantage of this. You know what I mean? Take advantage of this. And also carry that Saturn energy along with you into the 11th house. You know what I mean? Let it be known that it's not just going to be so simple either, because this is going to come with rules, regulations, and structure. You know, because Saturn, look, Saturn is the great rewarder later on in life, though. Saturn is like, how much can you go through? How much of this thick and thin can you actually make it through while still being steadfast and continuous in what you do that relates to work? How long can you stick it out? Right? So these are the words: long term, longevity. It's like stock. You know, you could take the fast way, you could take the slow way. You know what I mean? Slow money is show money. I know I heard that before. Even when I was in the game, I heard that. You understand what I'm talking about? You know, but it's still, it's totally up to you. So whenever you are confused about whether you want to utilize free will, or you want to be free, ask yourself at the same time, can you structure your freedom? It's possible. You may think that that's impossible, however, it's not. Just remember the explanation that I gave about 5 houses over from your 6s and your 10th houses in your career. So the way to make it there, the way to make a living out of your routine, is that eventually along the way you will see that you have to have some type of structure. Yes, it is very possible, Leslie. You have to have some type of structure. You know what I mean? It's like me. Like I love, like when people were hitting me up earlier, like I was sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Like I was resting. I sleep like, so I guess I was resting, but it was like those are my hours. You know what I'm saying? So I've designed that routine for myself to where it's like, you know, I sleep late. Why? Because I'm up at times like this, working, working my ass off. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, a lot of stuff I do without immediate reward. So again, like in the beginning of the video, I'm more closely associated with Saturn. However, at the same time, I know that there's things that I love to do. So I want to do those things more, and while building a structure around it. You know what I'm saying? You're a night owl too, Leslie? Yeah, that's how I roll. You know what I'm saying? And not for nothing, right? Like today, actually, I got up at the time that I usually go to sleep, and I went out. I had an appointment. I went out and, you know, oh, you making jewelry right now? Very entrepreneurish. I like that. I like that. So I went out to the appointment, and then the sun came out. It was almost like 90 degrees that fast, and I'm like, I'm not with all that. Like, I'm gonna keep it official with you. Like, I'm not with being toiling under the sun, and I think that's sick. I personally think that's why a lot of Americans are sick to begin with. You laughing? I'm serious though. Like, I think it's sick for people to actually be out under the sun. Like, how does that make sense that the solar system is inside of our bodies? We come here with a 96 point something degree temperature inside of us, yet we're supposed to go outside and work in the daytime. How the fuck does that add up? That's another video too, right? And that's a deep, deep secret, right? I like the cold. I like snow. I like Superman type environments. You know, I'm on that Clark Kent shit. Don't get me wrong. I'll go out and chill in Florida for a little bit and all that. But once it start getting all Like, I'm not with that shit. I don't think this is fun. And then people want to drink Hennessy in the sun and all that shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people, yo? But I'm crazy. Like, no, what the fuck is wrong with y'all with $75 bottles of Hennessy and 90-degree weather? And you call it culture. Like, there's nothing cultural about there's nothing cultural about that shit. That's sick. It's fucking sick. See, now my Virgo shit kicking up, man. But I'm telling you, man. Like, these are just very simple observations that we can make about life constructs and structures in general, and just be like, don't you think that there's something wrong with that? You want to overheat? Like, what is the point of that? Spring fall for you, Tyre? Spring is encouraging too, but for me, like, all of a sudden, like 2013, I came up with allergies. I don't know what the fuck that was about. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. You know, all that pollen and shit, I'm not too keen on that either. And then people want to pick flowers and make bouquets out of them. Like, leave the flowers in the fucking ground, man. What's wrong with y'all? The flowers die when you bring them out. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is that about? Like, I like a fucking, like, I'm reaching for that log cabin with the hot cocoa and the big blankets, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's another thing. Let's talk about the air, right? Germs breed wear and heat. Right? That's how humans are made. We're fucking germs. We're created inside of heat. But the air, when it's clean, is cold. Cold air is clean. You want to be in the mountains somewhere. I want to be in the mountains on a log cabin somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And sex is much better. You get a harder erection when it's cold. I'm for real though. People want to fucking, like, it's 150 degrees. How you want to fuck? Like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? The fuck? Like, this is. But yo, Leslie, these are some of the most simplest observations that we can make, and make wise decisions in the world. You don't ever hear this type of shit. This is rare. This is raw shit that I'm saying, but it's raw as fuck, and it's real as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't let people persuade me into that culture shit, into all that sun worship shit and all that. Like, I'm not with it. I'm not with it, because the seed grows in the dark too. You understand what I'm talking about? A seed can grow in the dark with water too. I learned that in science as a youngin'. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm freestyling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I can still be a little entertaining. I came off a bit strong with this video. It took a lot to actually do the booby cell. A lot. Yeah, that's that 12 Ace house talk. I'm gonna get back to secret houses too. I got an episode to do with secret houses. It's actually about the porn industry. Yeah, all sweaty and hot. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I happen to sweat in the air conditioning, so be it. You know what I'm saying? But if I fuck, I want to fuck like a porn star. I don't want to be all drooling and just like fucking dying in the pussy. Like, what is this about? Like, how does that make sense? What the fuck, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that there's anything cool about that shit. But that's me. You know what I mean? It's nasty. That's me. But yeah, that's 8th, 12th house talk. I'm gonna save some of that. No, I'm gonna save a lot of that for secret houses. I might even pull that off tonight. Those of you who have subscribed to secret houses, be on the lookout for that tonight. It's been like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think I've done secret houses since I've been back from Florida, so it's about that time to do that. But I wanted to get this booby cell thing done. A lot of things have been stopping me. There's been a lot of obstacles in the way from when I'm trying to do this. New Day Life. Hey, what's up? You done switched up on me, huh? I know who you are, though. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? Kind of missed the lesson, but it's also here and for you to observe and, you know, take what you can, utilize what you can. And also, for those of y'all who are here and you haven't subscribed to Private Investigation Enterprises, I think it's actually a link in some of the previous videos that I've just done. So you go over there and subscribe. I'm letting all 12 moon videos out. I did some moon videos on this channel too, but they haven't been getting much views for whatever reason. It might just be the YouTube algorithm, you know what I'm saying? I'm accepting of that, but I didn't finish the moon videos is my point. So, but now all 12 of them are over there, and Private Investigation Enterprises is more like the educational channel. So Do I have any type of crystals that I use? No, I don't. And the reason why I don't utilize crystals and stuff, and maybe in the future, like I got my eyes on a lava lamp, but the reason why I don't utilize crystals and stuff like that is because I don't like to participate in rituals that can be visible. Your last video was interesting about Taurus and Aries. I actually have to do a Taurus and Aries video. It's the highest on demand right now. I know I'm talking shit, like, oh, why you ain't do it yet? I got people really at me for Taurus and Aries, so you know I'm gonna show out for that. But yeah, the reason why I don't do the ritual thing with people visible is because I think a lot of people show off for God or whatever their higher power is. This is not to knock the Brujas. This is not to knock the other religions who, you know, do the prayers and the, you know, ashes on their forehead and stuff like that. Whatever floats their boat. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm more like a militant type of dude to where it's like I might be meditating while I'm walking to the store. You know what I'm saying? Like protect over me and projecting white light, protective light over me, whatever the case may be, but no one will be the wiser. You know what I'm saying? I think in these days and times, you know, some things, sometimes you got to hold your cards to your chest. Some things we can't just expose. You know what I'm saying? Cool, you have to go find a video for your moon. Yeah, all 12 moons, and they're very brief. I think none of them are longer than 2 minutes, so you could run right through them. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you do. Yeah, like I gotta be quick on my feet with it. The same way a military soldier would be. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't see military soldiers. Well, I guess in the movies sometimes you do see them praying, right? Like, please, Lord, don't let me get shot or whatever the case may be, or don't let them find me. But for the most part, you got to do that shit while you on your feet, man. You got to do that shit while you shooting or while you ducking and crawling and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no time to really get your ornaments out and your rugs and things like that. Like that's just how I move. You know what I'm saying? Right. You gotta always be strapped. You gotta always be ready spiritually wise. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Pisces too, but I can't. I think that's another thing when I show that side of myself, people can learn. They can learn how to take advantage of that. Like, oh, he's a caring, compassionate soul, so we can talk to him like this, or we can push this past him, and you know he'll agree or he'll go with it. So it's like it takes a lot to actually see that side these days. You know what I'm saying? So, but y'all get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But no disrespect, especially if you can do it inside of your immediate environment. You know what I'm saying? Like there's times that I do burn candles. There's times that I got my essential oils here. I do blow them. I just got finished blowing a lavender joint. It's one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? So I do have my techniques or whatever the case may be, but that's really when I'm at home and I don't showcase that. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't showcase it. Um, but listen, this is a great talk right here. Like I feel better because, as I said before, a lot of obstacles were in the way preventing me from doing this booby cell thing. Like I tried to like just put it merely on Mercury retrograde, but then I tried to do it again, and I'm like, yo, fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta protect your energy, Leslie. It's important. People get the wrong idea sometimes, and a lot of the times it's just because of the planetary placements influencing everybody. Cedar wood. Oh, is that an essential oil? I don't have that one, so possibly you're right. I'll look for it when I get ready to spend some money. When I make a big purchase. I mean, I like to buy a lot of things at one time. So, yeah, I'll take a look at the cedar wood or whatever the case may be. And so yeah, I'm glad I got this slavery thing off my chest and out to the viewers. Um, if people want to get extensive on this is probably something that'll happen when people come later on in the comment box. But I really just narrowed it down to what it truly is, how it parallels to astrology, and how you can look at it for yourself and see what it is too, without all of the controversy involved of what company owns this and who dumped chemicals inside of the water over here and this company supports apartheid. Like without all of that shit involved, you, the individual, need to be concerned with you. And are you a slave? And if you are a slave, why are you a slave? Like that's some shit that you need to handle with yourself. Not you guys and gals. I'm just saying. Anyone watching this, yo, that's some personal shit that can be explained right in astrology the way that I did. All right, y'all, I'm out. Be on the lookout for Taurus Aries. Be on the lookout for Pisces, Aquarius, updates. All right, compatibility style. I know y'all missed that or whatever the case may be. And please just bear with me as I make this transition for all of the lessons over to private investigation enterprises. Night, night, Leslie. Great hanging out with y'all. I'm out.